I mean, listen, man. If Brandon Ayuk gets traded, Brock Purdy only has 3 All-Pros to throw to now.
Oh no,
it's terrible. What a terrible situation. Worst case scenario for him. Fuck.
It's just
terrible.
like, I find it so funny that I find myself here still hearing the Brock Purdy jabs, even after a couple months of you losing that war. You lost.
I didn't lose the war. He didn't play well in the playoffs,
you lost.
bro.
You lost.
He didn't play well in the playoffs.
Super Bowl.
Take the L in the chip. Take the L in the chip. You lost that war.
Game-winning drive against your pride and joy.
Not just once.
He didn't play well in that
Down double digits against the Lions.
He had like 4
came back and
interceptions
won.
dropped against the Packers, bro. He didn't play well.
He played well in the second. You know
bro,
what?
he didn't play well for the game.
We don't care.
There's nobody that's
Zach
coming
Wilson
away from
versus
that.
Pittsburgh. Good game or no?
No, not a good game.
Oh, no,
Fuck
this.
no.
No,
He has to say that. He has to say that.
I slept on it.
He has to say
Fuck you.
It was like 2 years ago.
I hate that that's your new thing, and I love it.
Bro, listen.
We don't care.
I feel like Dell's is the one that really be unbiased when it comes to this. What was Brock Purdy in the playoffs, bro?
Fuck.
he was good.
I don't think he was bad. By any means.
come here, baby.
I never said he was bad.
Dell, come jerk me. Oh my God. What are you doing here?
Bro, I just said he wasn't good. That's all I said.
I think he was average to above average for most.
That's
Yes,
fine. I
he was
agree.
average.
I
I
agree
thought he
with
was
that.
average.
Fine. That's fine.
Was Joe
Is that my
Burrow
fault?
good in the Super Bowl? Because one of those 75-yard plays was just a pass interference. If that doesn't happen.
So we don't disrespect Joe Burrow around here no more. No. We don't do that.
No. The guy, he was
I don't
just
do that.
he just needed Dell's help. Now answer the question.
I don't partake
What
in
the
that.
casuals don't understand about that play is that he had a defensive line barreling on him, and because Joe Burrow is so strong and he's so athletic and he's so slippery in the pocket, he got away from the defensive lineman, stepped up in a terrible pocket, and threw that thing. Hey, sometimes the officiating goes your way,
He
but
lost,
that was a
right?
dime of a throw he made. That play.
Once again,
I could have hit that throw. You probably could have hit it.
Drew, I've
in
seen you throw.
the
You could
Super
hit that
Bowl,
throw.
Thank you.
in the Super Bowl, Joe Burrow was all right, but he wasn't asked. And this is coming from the
I've
same
never heard
guy.
you
This is his worst
And
game
this
of
is
the
something-
playoffs.
this coming from the
Probably
same-
It probably
this
was
is-
his worst
This
game.
is coming from the same guy
There we
that
go.
for
Here
an
comes
hour
the
straight was
shots.
defending Tua when he was dog shit.
He was ass.
And you blame
It was
Mike
freezing.
McDaniel.
It was cold. People lost their fingers. It
There's
was.
actually
It was hell in that place.
there's actually a reason for why the Bengals offensively did not match up with the Rams.
I know.
It's because they had Von Miller and Aaron Donald on their defensive line
Floyd.
matched up against the most terrible offensive line we have ever witnessed go to the Super Bowl.
I agree.
You cannot name me. You cannot tell me an offensive line that was worse than the group Joe
The
Burrow
Chiefs
led
won.
to the Super Bowl.
Well, they
Not
lost to the
even
Bucs.
against the Bucks. That offensive line, not even. The Bengals one was
The game
worse.
looked really bad.
Mahomes played great in that game, though.
I just hate that. I fucking hate
Did they
that
lose by like
statement.
30?
No, it was a rough game.
No,
was
Mahomes
really-
was awesome. His
I've
receivers
never
dropped
seen someone
passes
get
left and
glazed
right.
so much.
No, was it Clyde who dropped that ball at the end zone?
It was
Or
Tyreek. It was
Bro, if you watch that game, there's no way
it.
you're telling me Mahomes was bad. His receivers were
We didn't
selling
say
him.
we didn't even say anything
No,
about
no,
Mahomes.
I know,
You
but
just
I'm
brought it
saying
up.
in that game he was great.
I
The
just
stats
hate
don't
when
look good
people
though.
say that about him. Like,
he can't have a bad
tried,
moment.
bro.
But in every playoff game versus the Raiders, he was great. Versus the Titans, he was great. 348 yards. He took
Raiders,
9
he also had
sacks.
a Mickey Mouse touchdown in there. I forgot. I don't shit talk Joe Burrow anymore. I
And then against the
apologize.
Chiefs, he was amazing. He was elite.
Chiefs was mwah.
He was elite
that was a
against
tough game.
the best team in the AFC that year.
Anyways,
He was
all
elite.
this stemmed
Brock
from
Purdy was average. That's
all
what I'm
this
saying.
stemmed from you lost, and you
What
know
did I lose on
you
that?
lost the Brock Purdy battle.
What do you
lost.
mean?
Oh yeah, you
I
lost.
don't know how I
You
lost.
ran, you ran your
Sam
He
mouth.
was average.
How did you
Sam
win?
They didn't win the Super
If
Bowl.
you didn't lose, how did you win?
He played average in the playoffs, and he was quite clearly their weakest link. For
But
them
he
on
had an
offense.
exceptional regular season. I think
offensive line was
he
their weakest
outperformed
link.
anything you were expecting. He beat the Packers. He beat the Lions, coming back down from double digits. The Super Bowl, was it great? No, but that was a really tough
Their
defense.
defense
In the
was
regular
eye-popping
season-
in that
in the
run.
regular
was good
season.
in the first half. I'm just saying. I watched it back.
Their
He was good
defense
in
was
the first
eye
half.
popping in that playoff run.
Who? The Niners?
It was
Niners
not.
defense.
I didn't think it was.
Because if we talk about weakest link, the defense did not look great.
That's why I told you weakest link on offense. That was Brock Purdy.
Offensive line.
Brock Purdy. Not
Offensive
even.
line.
Debo
They
couldn't
did a
get
good
Offensive
job.
line.
You just told us Debo couldn't
In
get
the
open.
Super Bowl.
Shit.
In the Super Bowl.
The offensive line
But
was the weak
30,
side.
we
32,
forget- you know what?
Ayuk did get
It
open, and
don't
Brock Purdy didn't make a
even
play.
matter because
And
I'm
even,
not- I
and
don't need
even,
to do
and
this.
even
I don't
in
need to
that
do this.
game,
I won.
Debo Samuel, man-to-man coverage, got locked up by Trent McDuffie. They had a play where they got Debo free on the right sideline before the first half, or I would say before the fourth quarter, was at towards the end of the third quarter. Brock Purdy missed him
it.
flat out.
Yep.
That's a touchdown miss. He didn't play good in the Super Bowl. He played below average in the Super Bowl.
I never said he did.
And
I'll be honest,
Well,
he
you
had
talk about
30
the regular
touchdowns
season.
and 4,000
I
yards
know
last
Brock
year.
Purdy is
I
going to
don't
play
care.
well in the regular season. Jimmy
don't know. You
Garoppolo
said
gave us
Sam
top
Darnold
5
was gonna take
EPA
his
seasons
job.
in the regular
You
season.
said
with Kyle
Darnold was
Shanahan.
going to take his job.
I never said Darnold was going to take his job. I said Darnold could do the same thing he could do. He could have the same stats, bro. He could have the same stats. And that was my hot.
Same stats?
That was my lava take. That was my
30
lava
touchdowns?
take. That was an unlikely scenario.
not having this.
70% completion
No way.
rate.
No,
No way.
Sam's
No way.
not
No way.
doing
No
that.
way. No way.
Don't
No way.
say that.
Watch what he
Please,
does in Minnesota.
please just
Watch what he does in
admit that
Minnesota.
was crazy. Just admit that was crazy.
4,000 yards.
Joel, just say it was crazy, and we can move on.
What I will
He's
admit,
going to put up 30 TDs and 4,000 Minnesota.
Please just say no.
in Minnesota, no.
No.
But
In San Fran, he would have done that.
He
Please.
played better against the Ravens than Brock Purdy played against. Brock Purdy had 4 interceptions in that game.
But Darnold had
Brock
one.
Purdy had the biggest
Joel,
meltdown I've seen
Joel,
of anybody.
there's sometimes I listen to
outside
you
of
and
any
I'm just
quarterback
like,
outside of
damn,
Tua
is
Tagovailoa
something
in a
wrong?
regular
I
season.
won. You see how he's reacting?
he's crashing
I won.
out.
He's crashing out.
No, you're
This is
crashing
a
out.
crash moment.
You look,
and that's
bro.
how I
The
know
Purdy
I won.
shit
Listen,
is
bro.
done. It's done.
The 49ers all year long with the Ravens were the favorites to win the Super Bowl. The 49ers all year long were actually the favorites until the Ravens kicked their ass. Then the Ravens became the favorites.
Agreed.
When it came to Brock Purdy, it's always and will always be about the playoffs, because this is a team with Kyle Shanahan that when he has a healthy team, it's NFC Championship at the absolute floor. It's on him to perform in big time moments to secure the win.
He did that
and
a few
in the
times.
Super
Could the
Bowl,
defense
he
have
did
gone to
not
stop?
do it.
Okay, but in the
And in
conference
the
defense
Packers
have gone to
game,
stop?
he was terrible.
But he in the biggest moments where you needed him to show
The
up, he
biggest
did.
drive of his life at that moment
you
in
forget
time,
the Lions
he let him
second
down the
half
field and
game?
they scored.
The second
what
half
happened
game of the
32
Lions was
versus the Chiefs in the
insane.
Super Bowl?
Agreed.
Listen,
That's
God
only-
forbid the defense gets a stop, though.
why is Purdy held to like he has to be God
It don't
every
even
moment?
matter.
This is
Nobody's. What do you mean? He
Joel,
doesn't have to be God.
Joel, how many fourth downs did the Chiefs convert on those last 2 drives?
Brock Purdy in the playoffs
knocking it.
this year, 88.3 passer rating. That's God. I'm expecting God
didn't
from this.
So,
What are you talking about?
I just want to know what was in the Super Bowl that's probably dragging it down some.
In the Super Bowl,
No,
just-
Green Bay was bad. Green Bay was
Green Bay
bad.
wasn't-
what
it was
dragged
raining.
Green Bay, he was terrible.
So what was Jordan Love?
Jordan Love? Outside of the final moments, he was really good in that
He
game.
really was not good.
For
in
the
second half.
entire game, he was good. Jordan Love made some miraculous plays throughout that game.
He did this. Yeah.
Yeah. And Jordan Love also had a throw. He also had a throw rolling out to his left.
In the first half?
Left.
Right. Uh-huh.
Rolling out to his left, hit a throw
Do you not
on a
care about
pylon
second halves?
on an angle.
Do you not care about second halves?
Of course you got to care about second halves.
You
Brock
seem like
Purdy
you
had
don't.
4 interceptions dropped in that game, bro. He was throwing
I
it
don't
left and right to
care about
defensive
a
backs.
That's not my
He
fault.
was-
The defense can't catch.
It's
I'm
not.
like, what am I supposed to do with that?
So you also don't look at that and say,
Shout
oh,
out
that's
to
a
Didn't
terrible
Mahomes lead the
throw.
league and dropped interceptions?
Oh, yeah,
One?
no,
I
he
can't-
didn't.
Yes, he
No,
did one
Couple
time.
years ago.
He
Couple years
did.
back.
Yes, he did
Couple
one
years
time.
back.
He led the league
Yes,
and dropped
yes, he
interceptions.
did. No, he
Yes, he
didn't.
did.
No, he
I know
didn't.
you're going to say this in the
No, he
film
didn't.
lies, but he
No,
did
didn't.
that. That's a fact.
No, he didn't. Patrick Mahomes has always been towards the bottom of the league in turnover-worthy play percentage.
Look it
He's
up.
always been. I did on PFF. You want to look at it?
Yes.
Mahomes has always had a 3% turnover-worthy play percentage or lower, which always ranked towards the bottom of the league. He's never been a turnover-prone player. He's not been that. The only year where you can look at it and say he was, I believe, was 2021 or 2020.
He had
one of those
19
years.
dropped interceptions.
And that, what was that?
That was 2020. I don't know. Let's look up 2020.
What rank?
Let's see. 2020.
You can't name me a playoff game where defenders drop 3 interceptions from Mahomes, bro. You cannot name me that.
Why is the bar with Purdy fucking Mahomes?
The bar is not Mahomes, but he just brought up Mahomes. That's why we're talking about Mahomes.
No, because you keep talking about
the bar
dropping
with Brock
interceptions when
Purdy
Mahomes led the league
is
in that one
playing
time.
great in those moments. Y'all want to push him into the MVP conversation? Y'all want to say he's a top 10 quarterback? Then he has to perform
First
like
of all,
it.
I didn't have him in the MVP discussion. I don't have him as a top 10 quarterback. I just think he is more than capable that he can win a Super Bowl with this Niners team.
And that's the caveat. He can win a Super Bowl with the most stacked team in the NFL. This is the most talented team in the NFL.
Pardon
a
me.
lot of
He
quarterbacks
wasn't
do
one.
similar.
He was 3 in
Yes,
2023.
yeah.
He was up. He was at the top of the league. So you lie.
In 2023?
Yes, he was number 3. I'm looking at it right now. You know who was number 1?
Where?
Sam Howell. I'm sorry.
Where are you looking at it?
Josh Allen too?
Yes, he was too with 18. Mahomes had 15.
Where are you looking at it?
Team rankings. This NFL player stat. I don't know. What do you want me to do? I'm looking.
Let me see.
No, I'm not. You know how to do
What do you
all that.
mean?
'Cause
You don't respect the source?
Yeah, well,
I'm asking his
I
source.
gotta do all that to prove to you what I'm reading on my computer. You're crashing out. It's
No, I'm
okay.
not. Because
like, it's genuinely okay.
Bro, I'm
Mahomes
not.
is daddy.
Because
Bro, listen.
that's not true. That's not a true
look,
stat.
I'm looking at it. Maybe the website is wrong, and that could be a possibility. It's not my fault. This is what the website says.
So looking at it, Mahomes this year had a turnover-worthy percentage play of 2.4%.
I'm not talking about percentages.
It ranked
Dropped INTs.
it ranked 28th out of
So you keep talking
41
about percentages.
quarterbacks.
That's where we're getting the
was gonna
confusion.
say-
turnovers falls in line with interceptions. If a interception is dropped, they count that into turnover-worthy plays.
But I know that there's a stat straight up that just tells you.
And that's what I'm looking at right now.
dropped
Just
INTs.
drop.
But where is it? That's what I'm asking.
It's on this website. I don't know. Like, what am I doing?
What's the website called?
I just told you it.
Can you say it again?
Team rankings, NFL football player stats and stats leaders. I don't.
Have you ever heard of that site?
I've heard of team rankings.
Teams
for sure.
rankings.
I have for sure.
Come
It's
on,
like a
man.
green website type, right?
Yeah, it's
theme?
green.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
like.
here it is.
I've definitely got team rankings before.
Yeah, he's right. I'm looking at it too.
It's right there. I don't know. What do you want me to do?
According to PFF, which as a more trusted source,
I respect that.
2.4% turnover-worthy play percentage. I did not watch Mahomes this year and thought he had dropped INTs left and right. In fact, I thought
2020,
he was
I remember
safe
it
with the
thinking
ball.
like, yo.
That's the only year,
Yeah.
and that reflects in PFF. In PFF, he was amongst the highest players
But you
in
told
turnover-worthy
us
play
prior
percentage.
he never did that.
That was the only year he did it.
So when I did all that yelling, I said
Out of
he's
6
done it
starting
before.
seasons.
You said
You mentioned the wrong year.
No, you said
not
no.
on me.
I
Not on
called
me.
you
He
crashing
He
out
gave you
again.
2023 though. That's pretty damn.
2023 was 2.4%.
Drew, he looked me in my face and said, "It's never happened," and then he just said, "It did happen." So you did all that yelling, and it happened before. What's Purdy makes you that upset?
No, but having it
He
happen,
puts you off the rails.
Purdy or Tua?
but having it happen at,
Who you more mad at?
Who do you hate more?
Definitely hates to.
out of the 6-season sample size, Mahomes has been uber safe with the ball. He's been towards the
nobody
lowest in the
ever
league.
said.
Can we get off the Mahomes point,
You
bro?
love
It's
that.
so
Nobody's
it's so
disrespecting
stupid.
Mahomes. He's
It's
one of the
so
greatest.
stupid.
Ultimately, the bottom line is that Purdy's
Purdy.
not good enough to win a Super Bowl with the 49ers, and he won't win one. That's a fact. He won't win
Listen,
with the
mean,
stacked
I don't
roster.
know.
He's not
Philip
gonna
Rivers
win.
never won one. You know what happens?
It's not a hot
Matt
take.
Ryan
One
didn't
team
win
wins
one.
the Super
Dan
Bowl.
Marino,
This is a
zero.
guy
Dan
that
Marino,
went to
one
the
of the
Super
best
Bowl.
ever.
This-
Listen,
Listen,
okay.
it is one
calling
team
it-
wins
we're
a
calling
Super
Josh
Bowl.
Allen don't have one. He
So
ain't
saying
get there
he's
yet.
not going to win a Super Bowl,
Josh
I'm
Allen
not
clears
surprised.
him.
But also, this is a guy in his first full year healthy starting reached the Super Bowl.
You're talking about all these. All these other quarterbacks have situations they actually have to overcome. Brock Purdy's in
Again,
the
bro,
picture-perfect system.
My
in the
argument
world.
is not in a vacuum. Brock Purdy is taking a team to a Super Bowl. I'm just saying he is good enough with this roster to do so.
Especially
that is
in the
all I am
NFC.
saying.
Yes, I never said that he cannot get to one. He can. He's just not
He
good
did.
enough to finish it, and he played terribly
I'm
in the
sorry,
Super Bowl.
he
Jesus
can't
Christ,
beat
bro.
Mahomes.
No, but
Nobody
not
does.
only that.
It was
but
a one-possession game in the Super Bowl.
Question
How
mark.
dare,
But the question mark. This is the guy who finished second in MVP voting. He was a top 3 MVP candidate.
He had 4,000 yards and 31 touchdowns.
Yes, and then
he won
and every
12
single
games.
game against a
It's
tough
life.
defense, he didn't play well. Against the Browns, he didn't play well. From behind, he
What about
still
Dallas?
plays
The
like
team
shit.
you thought that was going to be the best team in the
Dallas
NFC.
got
What did he do
smoked
to
by
them?
every
What did he
offensive
do
team,
to
every good
them?
offensive
What
team.
did he do to them?
He destroyed them.
So then what are
So
you
did
talking about?
fucking Tua. I don't give a fuck about that game. What are you talking
That
about?
game mattered.
You can't do
Every good offense destroyed Dallas, bro.
You
Every
can't
good
do that.
every good offense destroyed
you can't
Dallas.
take that away. You can't say at one point in life this team is one of the best teams and this team is the top dog, and then when somebody destroys them, it doesn't
slept on
matter.
it.
You
He
can't
slept
do
on
that.
it.
That's unfair to the argument. And against Cleveland, he wasn't the reason they lost.
He was a big part of it. He was fucking terrible in that game. What are you talking about?
And then what he did in the fourth quarter.
Bro, on the last possession, he threw a screen to Ayuk, and Ayuk took it for 25 yards to set up the field goal. That's what happened in that game.
But then he
was
still-
terrible.
he put it-
And then they
He's
missed
still
a
in
field
position
goal,
to
and
win.
he's getting blamed for missing a field goal.
because they should have never been in that position in the first place. He was that terrible in that game, bro.
Okay, bro.
He completed 44% of his passes and had 125 total yards, a pass rating of 55. So what the fuck are we talking about? He was dog shit in this game.
The Cleveland and Baltimore games were crazy bad. But again, like we've said,
He was bad against the Vikings too.
Yeah.
was bad
Well, he
against
had
the
like 3
He was
game
bad
stretch
in the
where
He was
fourth
bad
quarter.
against the
He was
Bengals,
bad in the
too.
fourth quarter against the Vikings.
When Trent Williams was, I believe that's when he was out, correct?
Yeah. Again, no one's up here claiming that Brock Purdy on the fucking Bengals or whatever other team you want to put him on is leading the team to a Super Bowl. We're just saying on the 49ers, he can do it. He was just in the Super Bowl last year. It was a 1-possession game. It was anybody's game in the fourth quarter. So if you're just like, there's no way he's going to do it again, I mean, he got as close as you can to win and not win.
When did Debo take a screen 25 yards?
No,
It was Ayuk.
It was Ayuk. It was
Oh,
Ayuk.
thank
But
God.
also at the same time, he was winning twice. And they just had to get a stop. And they didn't.
When versus the Chiefs?
Yes.
Yeah, he also
Twice.
he was winning, and all he had to do was get a first down, and they would have milked the clock and won. And he had a wide open sling,
No, but
that
again,
he
it's his fault.
missed.
But why can't the defense do their job?
Why can't he hit Debo Samuel for a touchdown?
But like again, I could automatically. They had what 3 4th downs.
Let's see. I don't remember.
How many 4th down conversions was in the last 2 drives alone? The defense was unclutch.
The defense all year long, they were not the unit they were with DeMeco Ryans. That's a fact. But despite the defense, Brock Purdy had multiple chances to play well in that game and to make plays, and he didn't. It's as simple as that.
I don't disagree, but again, he left the field winning.
Jalen Hurts.
What do you mean he left the
Shout
field?
out.
He left the field winning. He had a chance to ice the game, bro.
But again, 2
So
times.
the game is on him.
3rd and 2.
In regulation,
Third
they're
and
winning.
2 in the fourth. 3rd and 2 in the fourth quarter. He had Ayuk open.
He did.
He hits that throw. The game is over. You don't even have to bring out your kicker. The game is over. You ice it.
You talking about the last drive? It was a lot of 3rd and 13.
It was the last
that's what
drive.
it was.
Yeah.
Third. It was third down.
I just
They
feel
had
like,
one
I feel
fourth
like
down.
Brock Purdy won't win a Super Bowl. It's just a whack hill to die on.
What do you mean?
just feel like
it's
a whack
not.
hill.
It's not just that. It's that I don't think he's as good as everybody thinks he is. That's all it is.
I think he's top 15. What do you think?
I had him top 15.
Rev, what do you think?
15, baby.
Saying
Okay.
what's the argument then?
But then
Because you're
why
trying
are
to
you
tell
so-
me
no,
I'm wrong
you
about
really
Brock
don't.
Purdy. I
Hypocritical.
never said Brock Purdy was a scrub.
I mean-
I always said Brock Purdy was around this, especially after this past season. Brock Purdy's a fine quarterback. He's an
what are
average
we
starter.
arguing?
Well, you
That's
know how
it.
long it took you? You know how long it took you to say that?
I've always said Brock Purdy was an average starter, bro. I've always said that. When we've gotten into arguments, it's because you have told me that he was more valuable than Brandon Ayuk, which I completely disagreed with. That's the reasoning. The only
That
takes
was the
I
only
made.
reason we got
the
into an
only-
argument? Are you serious?
Because I said he wasn't a top 5 offensive player on his team. That's why we got into an argument.
That's the
Trent
only time.
Williams, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, CMC, Debo Samuel. That's the argument we got into. That was the premise of the
That's
argument.
the only time we got into an argument.
About Brock
wasn't 'cause
Purdy,
you thought
the
he wasn't good.
The most heated argument we got into
No,
was over
Joel,
that
we
moment.
got into 12,
was over
like 12.
that moment. I
Joel,
said he's
you
not
just
a
sat
top
here and
5
looked at us
offensive
and
player
said that Sam
on his
Darnold
team.
would put up the same stats as him. You lose all validity. I really don't want to hear anything
Let me ask you
else after
something.
that.
You actually think Sam Darnold would be bad in that situation?
He wouldn't be as good
he
as
would
Purdy.
be this?
He would not be this.
He would be that?
He wouldn't be.
Brother,
No way. in
full-
You
hell.
don't think he's
I'm not gonna
throwing
say
for
it again.
25 plus touchdowns?
He would be one of the best league leaders in touchdowns if that
Jimmy
was the case.
Garoppolo threw for almost 4,000 yards and
comes the Jimmy G
26
stuff.
touchdowns. Yes, because Jimmy G was a
He
fucking scrub that played
wipes
well in his
Jimmy.
system.
He wipes
You also have to
him.
objectively look at it and say, okay, a quarterback as bad as Jimmy Garoppolo played this well in this system. It is safe to assume, given the guardrail Shanahan operates in under his offense, that another quarterback could play well. Yes.
Does he have the guardrails up with Purdy?
Yes, he
the
does.
way that he had it with Garoppolo?
Jimmy
No,
Purdy-
I never
Purdy has
said
more
that.
shit.
But Purdy does have guardrails, bro. Yes, he does. Absolutely. He's not asked to do what these other quarterbacks are asked to do.
But that's
No,
also
that's a fact.
that's also
That's the
Shanahan's
offense.
system. That same shit with McDaniel. Like I feel like that's just how they run their offense, where they want to be basically the quarterback and the offense coordinator. They want to design the plays and tell the quarterbacks, you're looking at 1-2. If it's not there, you got to go here. I think that's how the offense is running.
And that's why I don't respect Tua's numbers.
Listen,
They should keep doing it.
I hope.
You know, I
Ayuk-
think Purdy's better than
I hope Ayuk stays because I feel like this team is special. This team is amazing. I'll be honest. What you're saying, I don't care. Like you didn't already beat the He's a better quarterback than what you think he is. He just threw 31 touchdowns. He had 4,000 yards. If the next thing you have to grasp on is he can't win a Super Bowl, well, that's fine because all-time greats don't do it.
Well,
so I don't care. Like
the
Lamar don't got one. Josh don't got one. Hall of Famers like Dan Marino got one. So if he can't win one, them guys didn't win. I don't like. That's fine.
If you remember correctly,
like,
whenever we argued about Brock Purdy, my number one knock, even going into this past season, what was it? How will he play from behind? That was the number one thing I used.
He did it twice.
No, he was not. This year, he didn't play well from behind. No, he didn't. In the regular season either. He didn't play well from behind.
Why do you care so much about the playoffs? He didn't.
In the playoffs, he didn't, bro.
Weren't they losing to Green Bay? They were losing to Detroit by double digits.
Yeah.
Is he not like 1-1 in the situation? Is he not like 1-1 in the situation in the playoffs? Behind 1-1? Can we say that? Detroit, yes.
I'll say 1-2. Detroit was a one I'll really give.
Okay.
Why not Green Bay though?
Because he was terrible for the entire game.
I agree, but imagine that. You're dog shit. You're dog shit. I will go that far. He was bad, objectively bad from quarters 1, 2, 3 to essentially the last drive of the fourth quarter. He stays strong, resilient, doesn't lose his composure, leads a drive down the field to win the game.
We have to take into account that the 49ers were the most dominant NFC team, and the Packers were heavy underdogs.
They were the hottest. You could argue the Packers were one of the hottest teams coming in.
Yes, you can argue it.
They definitely
but the Niners were heavy favorites. They were heavy favorites.
It's the NFL.
Why does that matter?
You get hot at the right time.
Brock Purdy had 4 interceptions dropped in that game, bro. He was terrible. And in the entire regular season, when you look at his stats playing from behind, he was not good. Now, there aren't many situations where he plays from behind because the Niners are always up. In those situations, he didn't play well when he was playing from behind. Minnesota, Cincinnati, Cleveland, he didn't play well. Baltimore, he didn't play well. And coming into last season, that was my main argument. I still have question marks about how well he can play when the pressure is on him. The concepts aren't being easily designed for him, and he actually has to make these high-level throws that every other elite quarterback is asked to make week in and week out. That's still my biggest question mark, and it remains.
So then why aren't you more critical of Lamar Jackson?
Because Lamar Jackson carries his offense. He is the offense.
He undoubtedly is.
But in terms of high-level throws, like playing from
Lamar
behind.
Jackson makes high-level throws every single week.
How often is Lamar Jackson playing from behind?
He plays this
often.
past year. They were dominant.
Yeah, they were.
They completely smoked every team.
The one time they were playing from behind, AFC Championship.
He threw a dot to Zay Flowers, and Zay Flowers fumbled.
And what about the pick to Isaiah Likely?
That's unexcusable. The Chiefs got him on there. They played their cards right.
Right, like we could just nitpick
But Lamar
everyone.
Jackson's no. If you're nitpicking Lamar Jackson to try to prop up Brock Purdy, that's idiotic. Lamar Jackson makes a high level throw, makes multiple every single week.
I just think you're missing. Correct.
No,
exactly.
I'm not.
That's wow. Yes.
He's just nitpicking just like you are.
What do you mean?
Yes.
Lamar Jackson is a 2-time MVP.
No,
Of course,
he's
amazing.
undoubtedly accomplished.
He is a floor top 5. At his worst, he is a top 5 quarterback in the game.
And Lamar Jackson has had those moments versus the Chiefs. When they faced them a couple years back, he beat Mahomes, and he was coming back from behind.
In the regular season.
Yes, Lamar Jackson, I will not tell you he's had great playoff performances.
Mm-hmm.
He has not. His first playoffs against the Chargers as a rookie,
He was ass.
he wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
His second playoffs against the Titans gave it to him, and a lot of those stats that he compiled were towards the end of the game.
Agreed.
But the third time when he faced the Titans, he was really good.
Solid game.
He faced Buffalo.
Horrendous.
He was
horrendous.
He was all right. And then the Texans, he dominated the Texans.
He did.
And then against the Chiefs, I thought Lamar wasn't an A, but Lamar was good in that game.
He was like a 6.5, 7.
And they gave him no help on the ground. They ran no runs against a weak run defense.
Agreed.
Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers had 118 receiving yards
awesome.
against top level corners in that game.
He was incredible.
Lamar Jackson, in terms of high level throws, big time plays, but the gap between him and Brock Purdy is tremendous and what he has to do for the offense. Lamar Jackson is the offense, where Brock Purdy is surrounded by a ton of offensive weapons and he's just a distributor in it, which that's fine for his role. It's not a knock on Purdy, but we have to be realistic about him. And like I said, like I always go back to, my biggest question mark with him is how can he play from behind? There's no doubt to me that if Lamar Jackson is playing on the 49ers, the Niners have a Super Bowl already, bro.
Probably.
That's not even. I'm not even thinking about
Kyle
it.
Shanahan. There.
This was the most stacked roster Lamar Jackson has had in his career.
And it doesn't even come close to what San Francisco had, especially offensively.
No, not even
Defensively,
close.
we're talking about one of the best defenses in the league. This was one of the best ran defenses we've seen in a little while.
By the
Zay
way,
Flowers is wide receiver 3 on the
EPA per
Chiefs.
play when trailing in 2023,
on the-
Lamar was number 1.
Okay, how many games is that? How many snaps is that?
Lamar had 124 plays when trailing. It was the second fewest among starting quarterbacks. But
Which
it's
is still
First is
great.
probably
First is
Brock Purdy.
first. One is one.
Lamar's .33. Second place is Jalen Hurts at .23. So it was a considerable gap between those two.
One is one.
Say it again.
I said one is one. If you're one, you're one.
He's won them once.
Do we want to save our breakout picks and sleeper teams for next year, or we want to do one of those?
11 o'clock, man.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
we
say
can
it
save
is
it.
late. It is late. That was a good
I
time.
just love to see the crash out moments, man. That's all. You know, when you
That's so.
gotta
Yo,
find
Juwan
a way to
Jennings,
get
isn't he
something,
back
man.
also?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
he's
that's
back.
huge.
He's playing. He's
That's
playing
huge.
still.
Big wide receiver 3.
Hopefully next year you'll have a better battle, man. I hope the Packers.
I already won.
I hope-
He didn't play well from behind.
I hope
he
the Packers,
cost them in the
I
Super
mean,
Bowl.
He had two,
I already won.
He had two.
No, thinking you
What the
won
hell?
is no thinking
the
you won
the
is
only
top
way I
five.
lost is if they won the Super Bowl.
Imagine,
Or if he
imagine
played
Purdy,
exceptionally
then
great in the
himself,
playoffs.
Imagine that
back to
the
back.
only way to lose an argument.
Or he played exceptional in the playoffs. He played
Drew, I'm
average.
not
He was
acknowledging
average in the
this.
playoffs.
This is-
He was average in the playoffs.
You're
He
just
was
like, I'm
average in
not
the playoffs.
acknowledging this, man.
He was. You telling me? So he was average in the playoffs, bro.
What was Dak?
Terrible.
Yeah.
What was Dak? What was Dak? Let's
Yeah.
because we love to throw this shade. But
Who do you think is better, Dak or Purdy?
No, I don't care. You
No,
love
who
to
you
throw
think's
this shade on
The
Brock
only
Purdy.
shit that
What was Dak?
I get lost with is I'm not even disagreeing with you. I would say that he was average to above average. That
Everybody
Detroit
here knows
game
he
was
was
awesome.
average.
But what was Jordan Love in that game? He really was not good,
He
dude.
was
He was
good.
probably average,
In
too.
that game, in the end, he was terrible. He
What matters the
reverted
most?
back to a version of him early in the season that should not have appeared. But for the first 3 quarters of that game, he was really
Not
good. He
the
was
third
lights out.
quarter.
He was making plays. Bro, like I feel like you have to
First
rewatch.
half was awesome.
Like I feel like you have to rewatch the game and be like,
I did.
Oh my God, these
The
hollow throws Jordan Love made
the
were
first
remarkable.
2 quarters, Jordan Love had played like the Jordan Love we had seen to close out the season. In quarters 3, around the 7-8 minute mark.
So you think he was terrible in that game?
He was
So it's so
He was
drastic.
like a strong 6.
You're always excellent or terrible.
A 6.
Can never be a middle ground, you know.
Is that okay? 6 is
like
okay.
what Brock Purdy is. He's a middle ground. He's not
It's just-
exceptional.
I just-
He's not
it just-
replacement level.
This guy's hilarious.
And the
man.
game
Like,
versus Dallas, he was
You
a
mentioned the
fucking
Dak
10.
thing. Dak wasn't good
Because
And
at
never
first, 'cause
have I said
went
Dak was good in the
because
playoffs.
it went from back-to-back years of you thinking Dallas could go to now all of a sudden Brock Purdy has to win a Super Bowl to make you feel good.
What's the correlation between Dallas and
you
San
didn't even
Francisco?
think the Niners were that. You didn't even think they were the best team in the NFC last year.
What's the correlation?
You
What's
didn't
the-
think you
what's-
didn't think they were the
Okay.
best team in
What's
the
the
NFC last
correlation
year.
between
now
Dallas
all of
and
a
San
sudden
Fran?
they got to
It's
win a Super
or
Bowl.
bust. You didn't think they were the
what are
best
we
team,
like-
but now if they don't win a Super Bowl,
They were
you win.
favorites
That's
to
where
win it the
but that's
entire
not nothing to
year.
do
We
with
don't
you.
care.
The Cowboys
That's
were
not
favored
what
against
happened.
Green Bay.
Who was favored in the Super Bowl? The
Who was
Chiefs
favored?
or- the
Cowboys
Chiefs
or
or the
Green Bay?
Niners?
I don't care.
Who
was favored?
I don't care.
Cowboys or Green Bay?
Facts.
It was the Cowboys.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they got smoked.
Okay, but who was favored? The Chiefs or the 49ers in the Super Bowl?
49ers were slight favorites, but it was close.
Every game the Niners played in the playoffs, they were favored.
I don't
What-
care about
they
that.
won
Let me
every
ask you,
game
Rip,
except
what is
for
the correlation between the Cowboys and the Niners in this?
I just
or
explained
Dak
it.
Prescott?
I
Because
just
He
explained it.
did
Okay.
just explain it.
But me picking Dallas, yes, I thought this could be the year they did it. Because honestly, I feel like sometimes it's just about Tom that something happens. But clearly not. They had deficiencies that were exploited in every game. And yes, I could have came into it better, but I didn't have Dallas come playoff time making it out the NFC. I had lost confidence in them because the Seahawks came into Jerry World and smoked them on offense.
They did.
The Lions smoked them. Then you had
was understandable.
Then you had the Dolphins come in and smoke them. The Cowboys, much like the Dolphins headed into the playoffs, were in the boat where against good teams, they did not play well. So in the beginning, in the
Got
middle of
smoked
the
by the
season,
Bills. That's
I
another
had
one.
picked Dallas. My playoff tree, Dallas was not a team I had going all the way at that point. I did not. I was even skeptical about picking them over Green Bay because I thought Green Bay was a great matchup for them. When we did the previews, me and Dells were actually saying Green Bay got a shot to really do this because they could shock Dallas. Dak Prescott played bad in the playoffs. Nobody's defending Dak Prescott in the
I'm not saying
playoffs.
you are. You started the year. You had Dallas. I'm going to explain this whole. I'm going to
For a
explain
good amount
I'm
of
going to
it.
explain
For
this
a good
whole
amount of
breakdown
the
because you
year.
only like to remember one argument of what we were
definitely your
talking
squad.
about.
For a good
you
amount of the
started
year, it was Dallas.
You had Dallas. Niners beat the brakes off Dallas. Then Dallas starts losing those tough games. You started treading away. I agree with you. Facts. You started treading away. Playoffs come around. Your whole mindset is now, no, I don't think Dallas can win it, but I don't know about Brock Purdy winning from behind. You've always been on that cue. Against the Green Bay game, he wasn't great until that final drive. Against the Lions, he was great in the second half. He came back. Now he gets to the Super Bowl, he loses to Mahomes, and now all of a sudden it is now I just don't think he can win a Super Bowl. Like it's always every time Brock Purdy does something, it's always something new to try to discredit. Brother, he threw 4,031. I don't like
my argument.
I don't care about it.
My argument is
it's the same argument every year. Something new.
It's the same thing. You're telling me I'm switching the goalposts.
It was three different arguments.
The same way you can use Brock Purdy stats. I could say Tua threw for 4,000 plus yards. He led the NFL in passing yards. He was number one.
Joel, you're cooked. You have them going to the bowl.
Shit, you got me. You got me.
Let me see.
I knew it.
Yo, he really can't.
Oh no!
I knew it.
Yo,
I knew it.
Cooks your whole
I
argument.
knew it. I had a feeling. I hate that I had to do it, but I had a
Conversation
feeling.
is done.
Wait,
I won. I won.
Who did they face in the NFC Championship game?
You
in my
had
bracket.
you had the Niners losing.
To Dallas.
No, you
To
had
the
the
Rams?
Niners losing to the
I do.
Rams.
To Joel's credit, I feel like I do remember him putting that out, but then quickly changing it in fashion. But
Yeah, because Ravens are my pick, but I didn't pick the Ravens to beat the Chiefs. I
It
picked
don't
the
even
Chiefs to beat
matter.
the
That's
Ravens.
out, bro. I won, bro. The conversation is
This
over.
was
Because regardless-
January 12th,
yeah, that's week
2024.
18.
The conversation is over. I thought you changed it before that. No,
I just want to make sure I wasn't lying.
Keep lying,
No,
bro.
but I didn't.
That I had a
How did you
strong
find that so
feeling.
fast?
I just went to our Twitter.
Yeah.
I had a strong feeling because I remember for a while you were huge on Dallas regardless.
I didn't
That's
think it
the only
lasted that
reason I
long.
went to look.
No, I was.
Because the rest of us,
fucking
I mean, we
starved,
ended up
bro.
being wrong.
can't
All,
wait.
all of us had the Ravens. You had the Bills, but we did all have the Niners. You had the Cowboys.
No, yeah, but I remember off that bracket, the Cowboys got eliminated first round, so I couldn't really pick them anymore. But after that bracket, the AFC, the Chiefs, I had them winning after I seen them play because that was before the playoffs that I released that. But listen, shit, fuck it. You got me. I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
But I wasn't. It's not no
but
got
let me-
it.
let
I
me-
just wanted it to be.
Let me
want to make sure
preface-
I wasn't wrong.
Let me preface this by saying this is not a Niners versus Cowboys argument. This is not a Purdy versus Dak
I
argument.
never made it that.
This, and I said this, the Niners floor every year is NFC Championship if they're healthy. With Jimmy Garoppolo, the question was never, can he be good enough for them to go to the Super Bowl? The question was always, can he be good enough in that moment to win it when you're playing from behind, when you're playing a tougher defense? Jimmy Garoppolo is not Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is way better than him. But because Brock Purdy isn't one of those top echelon quarterbacks, those question marks still exist. It's not just about winning the Super Bowl. They are in a conference where the teams, in terms of contention quality, are much different than the AFC.
Yeah, but you didn't have him going, so it doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, I had them losing against Green Bay, but I had them beating the Lions. I never had them losing against the Lions.
Cool.
I don't know what that
I
does.
don't know what that, like, that right there, that picture of your bracket debunks everything you say.
It doesn't debunk it because Brock Purdy ultimately.
You just said the Niners are favorites, yet you didn't even have him coming out.
Yeah, but they were favored by Vegas. I can have a different prediction. I can have a different
prediction. We run our own.
They were favored by
accord.
you.
Own sportsbook over
and
here.
they made it. We run
Did you
our
have
own
them
accord.
winning?
We had our own. We run our own.
Did he not
accord.
have them winning?
It is just us, though. Like
I did have them beating. I did have them beating the Chiefs,
about
and
the
they were
outside
fucking close.
noise.
There was no chance they was playing Dallas. I was closer than you. I had the Niners going and beating the Chiefs. You had the fucking Cowboys going. So that must have been your foregone belief in Dak over Brock Purdy. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it was.
No, listen, that wasn't a foregone belief in Dak over Purdy. It's just a foregone belief that at some point the Cowboys got to get over this.
Well, this ain't
curse
the
and
NBA.
rut
It
they've
ain't no
been in.
curse. They
But
just
that's
ain't
why.
good.
But that's why I'm totally out on Dallas. I'm not speaking on Dallas because I've been burned by them. That was my mistake. I'll take accountability for that. But ultimately, the argument with Brock Purdy has always been about playing from behind. It's the same argument I came into the season last offseason saying, how will he play from behind? And statistically, this year, he didn't play well from behind. But because the Niners are so stacked and because they have such a great team, they're not going to have many of those moments. Those moments will only show up in high leverage moments like the playoffs, or if they face a great regular season team. And in those moments, to this point, Brock Purdy has not been good enough.
How stacked are they? Because you had Dallas beating them. How stacked are they?
They are a stacked roster.
So how stacked is Dallas to you?
Dallas has a lot of talent.
How stacked?
Dallas has a lot of talent.
Hey, listen, if you think a team is so stacked, so overpowering, you should have them going far, right?
Okay.
You shouldn't have another team beating them, right?
So you think the Niners aren't stacked?
No, that's why I had them.
Joel, you
going
had
to
them
the Super
losing
Bowl.
But this is the
their
thing. But this
first-
thing. We can also be smart and say, just because I had the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl, it does not mean that the 49ers then are not stacked.
Oh, so then what you
They're
think?
also a stacked team.
How did you think
Again,
they were
they were
going
a
to
talent-
lose? How did you think they were going to lose to Dallas?
I had the Niners losing to the Rams in that bracket.
How did you think
the
they were
Rams
gonna lose to
matched
the
up
Rams?
really well against
How
them
did you
in the
think
regular season?
It was going to be because of Brock Purdy, right?
What, against
They
the
lost to
Rams?
the Rams?
Because Matthew Stafford was picking apart their defense too.
I'm asking you, they're going to lose that game because of Brock Purdy. You
Against
thought.
the Rams.
Yes.
Listen, I just thought in totality it was a bad matchup because I think the Rams have played well against the Niners. And coming into the playoffs, we all knew the Rams were hot and
They're
were a
awesome.
dark horse
I won't say
contender.
anything
We
against
all
that.
know that. So in that bracket,
Detroit, though.
I didn't have the Lions losing
did.
to some scrubs. I had them losing to the Rams. But yes, they
were the only
are
one.
a stacked team. They
I
are a
was,
great
man.
team. Going into this season,
Hurt my heart,
you
though.
look at ranking rosters, the Niners are up there at the top. My question mark still is he good enough to play from behind? And when he's asked to make throws that other guys are made, can he do it on a consistent fashion? That's always been my thing. And no, he did not answer that question this past season.
31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 4,000 yards,
Super Bowl appearance,
Super
NFC
Bowl
champion,
appearance, number
top
one
3
seed in the
MVP.
NFC, division champs, conference champs,
Last pick in the
Super
draft,
Bowl
by the way.
appearance. Dak has none of that.
That last
We
pick in the
win
draft
that
don't mean
again.
nothing no more. He's held to a standard of being a good
Drew,
quarterback
we're
now.
good.
That's
Drew,
it.
ignore it. We won last year. Shout out to Brock fucking Purdy. He did his thing. Coming back for another year. Ayuk, I hope you come back because we need
The
you
seventh
for sure.
round pick shit, that's a great story. But in terms of his level of play, he's held to an expectation now. It's not,
Undoubtedly.
you can't just say, he played bad. He's a seventh round pick. No, he's held to an expectation.
Well, maybe
if you
if-
think
maybe
he's
if
that
he-
good.
maybe if
You
he was
naming
able-
all these accolades.
maybe
You
if he
naming
was
all these
able
accolades.
to sit behind an all-time great for 4 years and learn, maybe he'd be a lot better and win those behind.
You
the
name
days,
it,
you know?
all these
But-
accolades that you got in 15th. You don't even have him in the upper echelon of starting
It's a lot
quarterbacks
of
in the
great
top
quarterbacks.
10.
A lot of great
All those
This-
accolades you
this
name
is
it.
some of the most
I'll
talented
say
I've ever
what,
seen. in
Brock
position.
Purdy, first year starting, not
Amazing.
bad.
Oh, listen.
Not bad at all. Like,
Hey,
not bad.
What was he telling us outside about Ant-Man and how his 3 years start? Well, Brock fucking Purdy in his first year.
One is actually
Amazing.
legit.
Brock Purdy generational.
Is Brock Purdy generational? Amazing.
Imagine
That's the
that.
conversation
He's a
we got to
stud.
have
Listen,
next
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
man.
he's a generational draft pick for sure.
Undoubtedly.
Hey, man.
Last
One
pick
of the
in the
best-
draft,
one of
that's
the best
generational.
offensive ever
Listen,
ever.
That's generational.
We're gonna be.
No, the story's
You're gonna
great.
be dealing with this for a decade. I hope this works out for you. I hope
think
this.
so?
I hope this hate works out for you. You know.
I hope it works out for you rooting for the Eagles and Niners at the top of the NFC.
Let's
I hope it
not
works
play
out
that
for
card
you.
because I can pull out your team card. Please, let's not take it there.